On the news, Yoruba sociocultural group Afenifere condemns Tinubu Atiku, declares support for Peter Obi's presidential bid. Mixed reactions continue to trail APC's Muslim presidential ticket. And Oyetola Adeleke others signed peace accord in preparation for Osun governorship election. Many thanks for joining us on News Now this evening. I am Ayo Adebanjo. The leader of the Pan-Yoruba socio-political organization, Ayo Adebanjo, has declared his support for the 2023 presidential bid of the Labour Party candidate Peter Obi. Speaking in an interview, Adebanjo said the ex-Anambra State governor would not disappoint Nigerians if elected the country's president next year. He also expressed doubt about the ability of the All Progressives Congress candidate Bola Tinubu and his People's Democratic Party PDP rival Atiku Abubakar to steer the country's ship effectively. The Afenifere leader argued that Tinubu sold President Muhammadu Buhari to Nigerians in 2015 because of his selfish interest, adding that the ex-Lagos State governor would give continuity to incompetence if elected next year. Meanwhile, the socio-political group has been unrelenting in its support for the Southeast to produce Nigeria's president in 2023. Former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Bashir Lawal, has faulted the announcement of a Muslim ticket by the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Lawal, in a note he personally signed on Tuesday, described the decision as a disastrous error. Tinubu had earlier in the week announced former Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima as his running mate in the 2023 presidential election. Reacting to the development, Lawal explained that the choice of Shettima was a sign that the APC presidential candidate has been cornered by self-serving hero-worshipping lapdogs. Meanwhile, the Minister of State, Labour and Employment, Festus Keyamo, has also asked Nigerians to steer clear of religious leaders, asking them to consider religious sentiment when casting their vote in 2023. This comes of reactions by some people and some Christian political leaders within the All Progressives Congress APC, rejecting the party's decision to field Kashim Shettima as the running mate of the presidential candidate Bola Tinubu. The minister explained that good governance is what Nigerians need, adding that humanity will be the weapon to fight off the elite selfishly trying to smuggle religion into politics. Keyamo thereafter lauded the presidential flag bearers of the APC as successful governors of their state, respectively, with foresight for choosing the right successors. Well, to discuss the APC Muslim ticket issue further, I'm now being joined on the news by public affairs analyst Liberos Oshoma. Mr. Liberos, thank you very much for joining us on the news. First of all, let me ask you, what do you make of Tinubu's decision to pick Senator Kashim Shettima as his running mate in the 2023 presidential election?
Yeah, thank you very much. For me, this decision is a party decision. While the party has the right to choose whoever they want as a flag bearer or a running mate, it is way outside our decisions. Also, the people also have a right to express concern and either vote for who they choose. So that's why I think that if the party feels this is what we give them vote, I really do not, I do not begrudge them, but let the people also decide whether they want to go in the way of the party or go the other way. And that's the beauty of democracy. But what it definitely means is that because we do not participate, the party will, pander towards, satisfying those that participate. They see, the ability to garner votes from the core Muslim North. They see this as an opportunity to gather vote from the core Muslim North, and so that's why I think they have done what they have done, and they also see Christians as people who they can always, banter with, and then maybe, trade places with. So that's basically what I see played out here. What this also says that we should participate. The more we participate, the more numbers we have, the more we will be reckoned with. If the politicians don't reckon with you, it means that they probably do done that calculation, and you know, at the end of the day, feel, oh look, this is what we favor them more. This is where they get votes from. If we do not feel, you know, good about it, we can always complain. But what we should do is also to speak with our permanent voters card. Really, that's what I think. If we can't speak with our permanent voters card, let us stop complaining.
So how exactly do you think this Muslim ticket will shape the battle for the 2023 presidential elections?
Yeah, first and foremost, you see the battle for a ticket for Tinubu. What this has done, it's that it has, you know, brought to reality, to the fore, that in the North, first and foremost, they do not see a Southern Christian, a Southern Muslim, as Muslim enough to protect the interests of the Northern Muslim. And then also, it has also shown that the core Northern Muslim will decide in favor of a fellow Northern Muslim than a Northern Christian. And that's, as for shaping the election, it now behoves on the Christians to decide, to say, well, if we have been this relegated and we are not in the scheme of reckoning, let us now look in other direction where we feel that our interest or our religion will be protected. But whether in the South we sit down, whether that will, you know, really go a long way in affecting the election is another thing, because the next weeks or months will determine all of that, because I see a lot of negotiations would take place immediately after all of this. The politicians will go back into their trenches, you know, discuss with those they need to discuss with, negotiate with those they need to negotiate with, do a lot of horse trading will also be involved in this. And because you have the Christians in the South who are very discerning, some of them who already are part of the process, I see a little shift, but might not be that might not be too you know, injurious to the eventual outcome of the process.
Well, Public Affairs Analyst Liberosa Sharma, thank you very much for your insights and thank you for joining us on the news. Moving on, still on politics, candidates from all political parties contesting in the July 16th Osun State governorship election have signed a peace accord in Osogbo, the state capital, on Wednesday. This development is coming barely 3 days to the gubernatorial election in the state. Speaking at the event, convener of the National Peace Committee, Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka, admonished the candidates that violence is a fundamental threat to Nigeria's democracy. He also charged the aspirants and politicians to see the signing of the peace accord as a symbolic commitment to democracy, adding that Nigeria desperately needs a peaceful environment. Also speaking at the event, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Mahmoud Yakubu, appealed to all political parties, candidates and other actors to play their part in supporting the peace accord.
The success of the peace accord depends on the continuous support and commitment of political parties and candidates, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and the security agencies. Speaking for INEC, I wish to reiterate our commitment to transparent and credible elections. The Commission has taken every step to ensure that a credible governorship election happens in Osun State this weekend. As I said repeatedly on several occasions in the past, without peace, our deployment plans, recent innovations in voter accreditation and result management, the safety of voters, election duty personnel, observers and journalists, logistics arrangement, and ultimately the credibility of the polls will be undermined.
There is need to expand the frontiers of our freedom to participate in the processes concerning our country. So I want to end by saying 2 or 3 things. The first is the urgency of fixing our nation. And this is tied to the process we've chosen. I therefore want to continue to call on Nigerians. Let's go out and vote. Let's go out and register. Because this is a civic duty that we must perform. And I think we're quite happy that somehow by a twist of fate, there is quite a lot of energy that is being expressed.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has vowed to ensure A transparent and credible governorship election in Osun State come Saturday. INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu made this known while addressing a gathering at a stakeholders meeting in Osogbo, the state capital. Yakubu also reassured all political parties, candidates and the electorate that the choice of who becomes the next governor of Osun State is entirely in the hands of the voters. He added that INEC would not take any action to the advantage or disadvantage of any political party or candidate, as the commission will focus on the process and procedures as provided by the law.
The choice of who becomes the next governor of Osun State is entirely in the hands of voters in Osun State. We are not a political party. We have no candidate in the election. As I have repeatedly said in previous engagements, INEC will not take any step to the advantage or disadvantage of any political party or any candidate. Our focus is on the processes and procedures as provided by law. So far, we have successfully implemented 12 out of 14 activities contained in the timetable and schedule of activities for the election. The only 2 outstanding activities are the last day of campaign by political parties, which ends at midnight on Thursday, 14th July, and election day activities on Saturday, 16 July 2022.
This massive deployment is not intended to intimidate law-abiding citizens. Rather, it is to deter misguided elements that might bend on threatening the election through acts of thuggery or other conducts that violate the provisions of the Electoral Act. It is also to serve as a strong warning that government is determined to bring such characters to justice should they attempt to manifest their ignoble, undemocratic and unpatriotic intents.
Do not incite the youth of our there peaceful state. Do not use every means of desperation that you want to get there by all means. Let us leave everything to God Almighty. People know what is right. They have the sense of right and wrong in terms of what they want to do, in terms of who they want to support. Let us leave everything to the people.
The governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Lagos State, Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran, has announced popular actress Funke Akindele as his running mate for the 2023 general elections. The unveiling by the Lagos State PDP on Tuesday at a rally in Ikorodu had the party's candidates, leaders and members in attendance who expressed confidence in the combination of Adeniran and Akindele as governor and deputy governor candidates. Our correspondent Simisola Adegunwa attended the unveiling, files in this report.
Residents of Ikorodu, the largest city in Lagos State, southwest Nigeria, went agog on Tuesday as popular Nollywood actress Funke Akindele stormed the city to announce her readiness to contest as running mate to Lagos governorship candidate Abdulaziz Olajide Adeniran Jandor under the opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP) in 2023. At the official unveiling ceremony, party faithfuls thronged the streets to show support for the Lagos State-born actress who beat 4 other contenders to emerge as the running mate to Adeniran. Speaking at the rally, the Lagos PDP chairman described Akindele as an epitome of selfless service and a philanthropist who is ready to serve efficiently.
PDP is an organized party. We have looked around. We have searched our conscience. We have looked at the length and breadth of Lagos State. And we want to stand by those who have been cheated for years. That is the reason why you have the combination of and Funke Akindele. And I can assure you that we are going to work with them. They are going to shine.
Addressing journalists, Akindele says her acceptance stems from her huge sense of service to support Adeniran's dream to change Lagos come 2023, adding that her long years as an entrepreneur qualifies her to serve as Deputy Governor of Lagos State under the PDP.
A lot of young people hide behind their keypads to type, condemn different things the present government is doing. Nobody is willing to take the forefront to make a change. So when I got a call from Dando that, oh, this is it, I thought of it. I've been doing this on a smaller scale. I've been running the business for over 14 years, churning out different contents, and it's been going on fine. I have a longer season, like 30 seasons of a TV show for years, and I've been able to do it very well on a small scale. I'm very passionate about the young people. I love to empower, to nurture talents. I love to give opportunity to women. I love children so much. I'll do anything to support the children.
On his part, the governorship candidate of the PDP, Abdulaziz Adeniran, explained that the choice of Akindele is born out of a clear understanding of the task ahead and the need to work with a co-visionary who will add value to his candidacy.
For over 20 years, we've been doing one thing over and over again, and I don't think we should continue that way. So with due respect to the holders of the office, I mean both of them, they're my very good Egmont, but they are tired. You imagine somebody who made a law in February 2020 banning Okada, came back to repeat the same law, banning what he banned in 2022. It shows that he has forgotten that he has done this in the previous year, but we won't blame them. They've done their best, and I think it is time for them to leave.
The official unveiling finally puts to rest the recent rumors that the Ikorodu-born actress is seeking a pause from filmmaking to enter politics. Akindele clarified that she decided to make a career sacrifice for the greater good of Lagosians. Simisola Adigun, TV360, Lagos.
The Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association, DEPOA, has donated a large quantity of hospital consumables to the Defense Headquarters Medical Center at Mogadishu Cantonment in Abuja in the spirit of the Eid al-Kabir celebrations. DEPOA President Vicky Irabo led members of the association to also present a token to some patients who are receiving treatment at the medical center. Irabo explained that DEPOA decided to visit the medical center to identify with the hospital and its patients, as well as donating gift items and hospital disposables to the facility. She explains that the gesture was the non-kinetic support of the women to the troops of the armed forces to encourage and also pray for them.
This is a military medical facility, and we have more than 50 patients. We've come to identify with them as wives of military officers. We've been to different hospitals, 44 Reference Hospital in Kaduna, even the Memalari Cantonment Hospital in Maiduguri. We are their wives. This is our little way of showing support to the troop.
It's an opportunity for the President of the DEPOA to see the facility which the defense, all members of the armed forces in Abuja have at their medical center, to serve them. And we take it as an opportunity to make her have a first-hand look at what we have, and so she will be able to at least relate some of these things to the Chief of Defense Staff himself, who I personally know, and I know is very passionate about the health of his troops.
We are just here in a cubicle. I know you will use our good office to assist us. If that is great, maybe you can look around and see where you can expand this place for us to be able to disperse, to be able to show you our talent, because most of us in this place, we are specialists, and we wouldn't want to be referring people every time because of space.
Well, we'll take a break now, but still to come, NCDC confirms 357 new COVID-19 cases in 3 days. Details of this story and more right after this break. Welcome back. Here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. The leader of the Pan-Yoruba socio-political organization, Ayo Adebanjo, has declared his support for the 2023 presidential bid of Labour Party candidate Peter Obi. Speaking in an interview, Adebanjo said the ex-Anambra State governor would not disappoint Nigerians if elected the country's president next year. He also expressed doubts about the ability of the All Progressives Congress APC candidate Bola Tinubu and his People's Democratic Party PDP rival Atiku Abubakar to steer the country's ship effectively. Well, we also told you that candidates from all political parties contesting in the July 16 Osun State governorship election have signed a peace accord in Osogbo, the state capital, on Wednesday. This is coming barely 3 days to the gubernatorial election in the state. Speaking at the event, the co-convener of the National Peace Committee, Bishop Matthew Asan Kuka, charged the aspirants and politicians to see the signing of the peace accord as a symbolic commitment to democracy, adding that Nigeria desperately needs a peaceful environment. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google+ at TV360 Nigeria, on Facebook, we're TV360 Online. Nigeria has confirmed 357 new cases of the COVID-19 infections amid the wave of fresh infections resurging in parts of the country. In a tweet on Tuesday, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) explained that the fresh infections were confirmed between July 9 and 11, 2022. These cases, the agency explained, were reported in 5 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The number of new cases have continued to rise as authorities are yet to restore the relaxed measures initially put in place to curb the spread of the disease. Experts in the business sector have urged small and medium-scale business owners to leverage on creating market-led solutions towards achieving sustainable development goals to salvage the economy ravaged by the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. At the Africa Social Impact Summit in Abuja on Wednesday, the industry players urged business owners to form meaningful partnerships that will activate global demand for their products and services. They added that homegrown solutions will provide a better chance of creating a truly diverse business ecosystem to yield significant results across Nigeria and the continent.
Nigeria is unfortunately not on track to reach many of the SDGs by 2030. A situation again, of course, compounded by the pandemic and the war in Ukraine. The same is true across other African nations. There are significant challenges to achieving the 2030 agenda, and accelerated and transformational efforts are required if we are to meet this great nation's and the continent's development aspirations.
Over several decades, we've witnessed a marked shift in our understanding of the concepts of development. We've evolved, our thinking has evolved from a narrow focus on economic growth to a broader notion of human development. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, unanimously adopted by the UN General Assembly, lays out the 17 Sustainable Development Goals which aim to mobilize global efforts to end poverty, foster peace, safeguard the rights and dignity of all people, and protect the planet. I think everyone here is familiar with the Sustainable Development Goals.
To sort of look at what are the different possibilities around a sustainable economy, such as the green ones, the blue ones, and also the circular economies. With the help of Sterling One Foundation, what we've done so far is to create a system where we can view impact not from a social perspective, but also from an investment perspective.
Well, we'll take a break here and return with more stories in business. Please stay with us.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything.
The Lagos State government, through the Lagos State Resident Registration Agency, has announced plans to launch the upgraded Lagos State Resident Identity Card on Wednesday, July 20, 2022. This was made known by the General Manager of the agency, Ibilola Kasumu, in a statement on Wednesday. Kasumu explained that the new LAG ID card, which is a multi-application smart card, will offer registered residents access to services ranging from a mix of personal security and identity verification at points of access various government services to applying for loans from Lagos State Employment Trust funds. She emphasized that the LAG ID card project is pivotal to the Lagos Smart City initiative for the planning and distribution of infrastructure, security, social protection, financial inclusion, and disaster and emergency response management, to mention but a few. Well, we'll take another break now and return with a review of the stock market. The Nigerian equities market declined by 0.32% on Wednesday, the first trading day this week after a 2-day public Eid-el-Kabir holiday. Benchmark, all-share index and market capitalization also decreased from preceding trading day to 51,390 basis points and 27 trillion naira respectively. Multiverse Mining and Exploration with Red Star Express led the laggards with 4 naira 37 kobo. Moving to the gainers list today, Computer Warehouse Group and Caverton Offshore Support Group topped the gainers list with a combined 2 naira 22 kobo gain. To the market summary, investors traded 198 million volume of shares with a market value of 2.181 billion naira in 4,769 deals. Meanwhile, analysts foresee bearish sentiment as investors await second quarter earnings report. To our selected global stocks, UK's FTSE, US Dow Jones ended trade in the bears amid rising inflation and COVID-19 cases surge, leaving Japan's Nikkei in the bulls at the close of trading on Wednesday. That's all on stock market reports. Moving on to the foreign scene, authorities in South Sudan say more than 230 people have been killed over the last 2 weeks in ethnic clashes in the south as the country marks 11 years of independence. According to reports, the killings happened in Capoeira North County, where rival communities clashed following cattle raids in one of the villages. Meanwhile, the governor of the state has condemned the killings and asked the government to urgently send security forces to the area to help restore calm. Earlier, the United Nations warned that the country risks a return to civil war because of continuing internal communal fightings that has displaced millions of people in the region. And in sport, ahead of Thursday's quarter-final clash against Cameroon at the ongoing 2022 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, the Super Falcons have arrived in Casablanca, Morocco on Wednesday. The 9-time champions played all their 3 group games at the Stade Moulay Hassan in Rabat, where they finished second in Group C behind South Africa, who topped the group with 9 maximum points, while the Falcons hope to make the 3rd win following back-to-back victories over Botswana and Burundi and a 2-1 defeat to South Africa in their opening clash. Cameroon are looking for their 2nd win of the tournament after defeating Tunisia 2-0 in their last group match. Well, that's all on News Now this evening. Thank you for watching.